Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services, a premier institution for preparing for civil services in India. Today's session is very important and this session is going to be very crucial for all the UPSC aspirants, OPSC aspirants, WBCS aspirants and all the government jobs aspirants in India. Because India में ऐसे कोई भी एग्जाम्स नहीं है जहाँ पे 5 year प्लान से क्वेश्चंस नहीं पूछा जाता है. सो इंडिया के कोई भी एग्जाम्स आप देख लेंगे तो सभी एग्जाम्स में 5 year प्लान से क्वेश्चंस पूछा जाता है. तो इसीलिए 5 year plans बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है हर एक एग्जाम्स के लिए. सो फॉर दिस रीजन टुडे आई विल कवर ऑल द 5 year plans and important achievements, targets and the important models of the 5 year plans in one shot. So in this video we'll discuss all the important facts related to the 5 year plans in detail. So watch this video till the end because this video is going to be very informative and I do not want to waste much of our time in the beginning of the video itself. So without further delay, let us start with the 5 year plans in detail. So before we know about the 5 year plans, we need to know about the Planning Commission. And talking about the Planning Commission was set up by the resolution of the Government of India in March 1950. So you have to know that the Planning Commission is an executive body. So there are basically 3 important types of bodies in India. First one is constitutional body, which are established by the constitutional framework. For instance, the Election Commission of India, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, etc. are the constitutional bodies. But there are other type of bodies such as the Planning Commission of India, which are established by the executive resolution. So for this reason, the Planning Commission of India is an executive body, and there is other type of body which is called the statutory bodies. And the statutory bodies means the bodies which have been created by the statute or the law of the parliament. So for instance, the National Commission for Women is a statutory body because it has been created by an act of parliament. So you have to know about the difference between 3 types of bodies. And exams you might be asked that the Planning Commission is an executive body, statutory body or the constitutional body. So you have to tick the answer as the executive body. And the Planning Commission's chairperson was the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister was the ex officio chairperson of the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission contained 6 union ministers. Okay, so there were 6 union ministers and there were also a member secretary. So these are the members of the Planning Commission, and in Planning Commission there was also a deputy chairperson. Okay, so these are the important facts about the Planning Commission. So talking about the first 5 year plan, the main architect of the first 5 year plan was Ken Raj. You can see the Ken Raj in the picture. He was the main architect of the first 5 year plan, and the duration of the first 5 year plan was from 1951 to 1956, and this first 5 year plan was chaired by Jawaharlal Nehru, who was then Prime Minister of India, and it was based on Harrod-Domer model. This model is very important because in exams it has been asked that the first 5 year plan was based on which model. So your answer should be Harrod-Domer model, and its main focus was agricultural development. So agriculture was the main focus of the first 5 year plan, and the first 5 year plan achieved a growth rate of 3.6%, which was more than the target of 2.1%. So this is very important point. So targets and achieved growth rate भी exams में पूछा जाता है. So you have to know the targets and achieved growth rate, and we can say that the first 5 year plan was successful because the achieved growth rate was higher than the targeted growth rate. And at the end of the first 5 year plan, 5 IITs were set up. ठीक है, so this is very important. एग्जाम में ये पूछा जा सकता है कि कितने IITs बनाया था फर्स्ट 5 ईयर प्लान के तहत. सो आपका आंसर होगा 5. एंड द IIT खड़गपुर was the first IIT to be set up in the first 5 year plan, and it was set up in 1951, and the IIT Bombay was set up in 1958, and then IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras was set up in 1959, and IIT Kanpur was set up in 1959 again, and the IIT Delhi was set up in 1961. So आपको एग्जाम्स में ये पूछा जा सकता है कि which of the following IITs were set up in the first 5 year plan, और आपका ऑप्शंस में IIT गुवाहाटी रह सकता है, IIT कोई भी नया IITs, फॉर इंस्टेंस IIT मांडी रह सकता है. ठीक है, सो यू हैव टू नो दैट विच IITs वर सेट अप इन द फर्स्ट 5 year प्लान. ठीक है, एंड IIT गुवाहाटी वाज सेट अप इन 1994. So this was the 6th IIT. So you can see that after the 3 or 4 decades, the 6th IIT was set up. So before 1994, there were only 5 IITs in India. So the IITs which were set up during the first 5-year plan are the IITs which are still the institution of very importance for India. So they are very important institutes till date today. So for this reason, the 5 IITs which were set up in the first 5-year plan are very important. Now moving on to the second 5-year plan. So this is the second 5-year plan, and it was based on the PC Mahalanobis model. So the model of this plan was based on PC Mahalanobis, and the PC Mahalanobis was the eminent statistician of India. He also founded the Indian Statistical Institute in India, and the main focus of the second 5-year plan was industrial development. So the industrial development of the country was the main focus of the second 5-year plan. So you can see the move from the agricultural development, which was the motive of the first 5-year plan, to the industrial development in the second 5-year plan. And the target growth rate of the second 5-year plan was 4.5%, but achieved a growth rate of 4.27% only. So we can say that the second 5-year plan was a failure because it could not achieve the targeted growth rate. ठीक है, so आपको ये points याद रखना है. And the shortcut for the second 5-year plan is Madras. So अगर आपको ये mnemonics याद है तो आप easily the important facts about the second 5-year plan जान सकता है. ठीक है, so the important facts about the second 5-year plan is that it was based on Mahalanobis model. ठीक है, that is represented by M, and A represents for Atomic Energy Commission. So Atomic Energy Commission was established in the second 5-year plan. So A stands for Atomic Energy Commission. The Durgapur Steel Company was established during the second 5-year plan, and also the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, so TIFR, was also established in the second 5-year plan. And the Rourkela steel plant was also established during this second 5-year plan. And the focus of the second 5-year plan was the rapid industrialization. So R also represents the rapid industrialization. ठीक है, and A represents the agriculture. So agriculture was also one of the focus, and S stands for the socialist pattern of society. So the second 5-year plan was influenced by the socialist pattern of the society, which was the main agenda of the then Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. ठीक है, so these are the important facts that you need to know about the second 5-year plan, and many industries were set up in the second 5-year plan, so you need to know all of them. And the iron and steel industries at Durgapur, Vilai and Rourkela was established in the second 5-year plan only. ठीक है, so आपके एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है कि Rourkela steel plant was established during which 5-year plan, तो आपका आंसर होगा वो second 5-year plan. ठीक है, and the chemical fertilizers plant at Sindri was also established. ठीक है, तो पहले तो आपको ये जानना है कि केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर जो प्लांट है कहाँ पे है, सिंदरी में है. एंड आपको ये पूछा जाएगा कि केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर प्लांट at Sindri was established during which 5-year plan, and your answer should be second 5-year plan. And the rail engine factory at Chittaranjan was also established in the second 5-year plan. So there is a rail engine factory in Chittaranjan in West Bengal, and this was also established in the second 5-year plan. So these are the important facts about the second 5-year plans that you need to know about. Now moving on to the third 5-year plan and its details. So talking about the third 5-year plan, the duration of the third 5-year plan was from 1961 to 1966, and this plan is also called the Gadgil Yojana. ठीक है, this is very important point. In many exams this is asked that the Gadgil Yojana is referred to which 5-year plan, so your answer should be third 5-year plan. And during the third 5-year plan, India was engaged in 2 wars. So this is very important. The first one is Sino-India War, which was fought between India and China, and this war happened in 1962. And the second war is Indo-Pakistan War of 1965. and the plan was flop due to wars and drought. So there was also a drought, ठीक है. So for this reason this plan was flop, and this plan could not achieve the targeted growth rate. So the growth rate which was achieved in this third 5-year plan was only 2.4%. So this was a very low growth rate which was achieved in the third 5-year plan, although the targeted growth rate was 5.6%. So this third 5-year plan was a brutal failure for India. So these were the important facts about the third 5-year plan. Now talking about the fourth 5-year plan. So as we just discussed, there was a war between the India and Pakistan and India and China during the third 5-year plan. So for this reason 3 annual plans were announced after the third 5-year plan, and the annual plans lasted from 1966 to 1969. So this is a very important point. So exam में पूछा जाता है कि the annual plans was announced during the which 5-year plan, or after the which 5-year plan, or before the which 5-year plan. ठीक है, तो आपको याद रखना है this the annual 5-year plans was announced before the fourth 5-year plan and after the third 5-year plan, and the fourth 5-year plan lasted from 1969 to 74. ठीक है, this year is very important, and this fourth 5-year plan was started during the leadership of Indira Gandhi. ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है. And two main objectives of this plan was the growth with stability and progressive achievement of self-reliance. So the progressive achievement of self-reliance and the growth with stability was its objective. ठीक है, तो objectives बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Especially in WBCS, the questions from objectives are asked, so you need to know about the objectives. And the 14 major Indian banks were nationalized and during this 5-year plan. So the bank nationalization happened for the first time in the fourth 5-year plan, ठीक है, and 14 banks were nationalized in the fourth 5-year plan. And the green revolution was also started in the fourth 5-year plan. ठीक है, सो ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है. To promote the growth of agriculture in India, to promote the production of wheat and rice in India, the green revolution started in India during the fourth 5-year plan, and the Indo-Pakistan war of 1971 also happened during the fourth 5-year plan, and the Bangladesh liberation took place after this, and the Indo-Pakistani war of 1971. ठीक है, you can see the generals from two countries signing the pact after the Indo-Pakistan war of 1971, because Pakistan was brutally defeated in the Indo-Pakistan war of 1971. ठीक है, so for this reason this Indo-Pakistan war of 1971 is important. So exam में आपको ये पूछा जाता है कि Indo-Pakistan war of 1971 happened during which 5-year plan. तो आपका आंसर होगा fourth 5-year plan. And the implementation of family planning program. So this is very important point. The family planning program, ठीक है, there were forced sterilization of men. ठीक है, so these things happened in the fourth 5-year plan only. So these are the important facts that you need to know about the fourth 5-year plan. Now moving on to the fifth 5-year plan and its provisions in detail. So talking about the fifth 5-year plan, this fifth 5-year plan was also started during the Indira Gandhi government. ठीक है, and the fifth 5-year plan lasted from 1974 to 1979, and the shortcut to remember the fifth 5-year plan's objectives and important agendas of the fifth 5-year plan is PSTM. So if you remember the PSTM, then you can easily remember the important facts about the fifth 5-year plan. So the P stands for poverty eradication. So poverty eradication was one of the objective of the fifth 5-year plan. ठीक है, so this is also called गरीबी हटाओ स्लोगन. So एग्जाम में ये पूछा जाता है कि गरीबी हटाओ स्लोगन. So the गरीबी हटाओ slogan was started during the which 5-year plan? Your answer should be the fifth 5-year plan. And the self-reliance was also one of the objective. So S stands for self-reliance, and the 20-point program was started during this fifth 5-year plan. This is also important. And the minimum needs program was also started during the fifth 5-year plan. So minimum needs program is a poverty eradication program, because the objective of the fifth 5-year plan was the poverty eradication. So for this reason, minimum needs program was started in the fifth 5-year plan, and the fifth 5-year plan was also successful because the targeted growth rate was 4.4%, but the achieved growth rate was 4.8%. So the achieved growth rate was much higher than the targeted growth rate. And this plan was terminated in 1978 by the newly elected the Morarji Desai government. So the Morarji Desai government, which was the government of Janata Party, so Janata Party came up in power in 1978, and the Janata Party led by the Morarji Desai terminated this fifth 5-year plan midway. So for this reason, this fifth 5-year plan was incomplete, and these are the important facts about the fifth 5-year plan. Now moving on to sixth 5-year plan and its provisions. So talking about the sixth 5-year plan, the period of sixth 5-year plan was from 1980 to 1985. And after the termination of fifth 5-year plan, the rolling plan came up in India from 1978 to 1990. So during the Morarji Desai government, the rolling plan was brought into effect in India. So exam में ये पूछा जाता है कि rolling plan was implemented during which years? So your answer should be from 1978 to 1990. And its growth target was 5.2%, but achieved a 5.7%. So sixth 5-year plan was also successful. So आपको ये figures याद रखना है. 5.7% was the achieved growth rate, and the गरीबी हटाओ slogan was also part of the sixth 5-year plan. So exam में अगर आपको दिया कि गरीबी हटाओ slogan was part of which 5-year plan, then your answer should be fifth 5-year plan. If both options are there, fifth and sixth 5-year plan, then your answer should be the fifth 5-year plan. But both fifth and sixth 5-year plan had the Garibi Hatao as slogan. So you have to remember this fact. You should not get confused. Although both plans had the Garibi Hatao as its objective, but the fifth 5-year plan had the Garibi Hatao as the main objective, because the poverty eradication was the main objective of the fifth 5-year plan. So these are the important facts about the sixth 5-year plan. Now moving on to the seventh 5-year plan. So the seventh 5-year plan was started during the Rajiv Gandhi government. So the Rajiv Gandhi government started the seventh 5-year plan in 1985, and it lasted till 1990. And for the first time, the private sector was given the priority over the public sector. So this is very important initiative. So before the LPG reform started in India, Rajiv Gandhi was the first person to recognize the importance of the private sector in India, and its growth target was 5%, but the achieved growth was 6%. So this seventh 5-year plan was also successful, because the achieved growth rate was higher than the targeted growth rate, and due to volatile political situation at the center, this plan was also affected, and two annual plans started from 1990 to 1992. So two annual plans again came up in the seventh 5-year plan. So in the exam, if you are asked that the annual plans was started during the which 5-year plan, then your answer should be the seventh 5-year plan. So in the seventh 5-year plan, the annual plans was started, and this lasted from 1990 to 1992. So the shortcut to remember the seventh 5-year plans important figures or facts is the EFGH. So this is a very simple mnemonic. So EFGH, where E stands for employment generation, F stands for food grain production. So the food grain production in the seventh 5-year plan doubled. So this is a very important point. So आपको एग्जाम में ये पूछा जा सकता है कि food grain production was doubled during which 5-year plan, then your answer should be the seventh 5-year plan, and the employment generation was one of the important objective. ठीक है. And जवाहर रोजगार योजना was started in 1989. So JRI. So अगर आपको एग्जाम में पूछा गया है कि जवाहर रोजगार योजना was started during which 5-year plan, then your answer should be the 7th 5-year plan. And the Hindu rate of growth was coined during this 7th 5-year plan. So Hindu rate of growth, which was the growth of India before the LPG reform. So the LPG reform, we will discuss about it, which started during the Narasimha Rao government in 1991. Was very successful. So before the 1991, the growth rate of India was very low. So for this reason, the term the Hindu rate of growth was coined for India before the 1991. So the Hindu rate of growth was called for the growth rate which was before the 1991 in India. So after the 1991, the growth rate of India increased, but before the 1991, the growth rate of India was very low. For this reason, the Hindu rate or the Hindu rate of growth was coined during the 7th 5-year plan. So these are the important facts about the 7th 5-year plan that you need to know about. So now moving on to the 8th 5-year plan and its details. So talking about the 8th 5-year plan, the 8th 5-year plan was started during the PM Narasimha Rao government. So PM Narasimha Rao was the government or the prime minister during the 8th 5-year plan, and the main architect of this 8th 5-year plan was Manmohan Singh. So Dr. Manmohan Singh, who later on became the Prime Minister of India, was the main architect of this plan, and he was the finance minister at that time. And this 8th year plan saw the launch of LPG reform. So this is the landmark reform of India in terms of economy of India, because the liberalization, privatization and globalization was the milestone for the development of Indian economy, because many sectors in Indian economy were open up, because before this LPG reform there was a license Raj in India. The business were not free to be done in India, and there was a permit system. Only the license holders could do the business in India, and the foreign direct investments in India were restricted before this. ठीक है. So for this reason, the economic activities were very low and very restricted in India. So after this LPG reform, the economic development of India progressed, and for this reason this LPG reform is said to be the landmark movement of the economic reforms in India, and this started in the 8th 5-year plan. So this is a very important point, and this plan was successful and got an annual growth rate of 6.8% against the target rate of 5.6%. So यहाँ पे जो targeted growth rate था वो था 5.6%, but the achieved growth rate was 6.8%. And the high growth of agriculture and allied sector and manufacturing sector, growth in exports, imports, improvement in trade, current account deficits were seen in this 8th 5-year plan. So the 8th 5-year plan saw the achievements in most of the sectors of the economy. So for this reason, during the 8th 5-year plan, the forex reserve increased, the foreign direct investments increased, the business activities in India increased. So for this reason, the 8th 5-year plan is very, very important for India. So this was all about the 8th 5-year plan. Now moving on to the 9th 5-year plan and its details. So far as the 9th 5-year plan is concerned, this 9th 5-year plan started in 1997 and it ended in 2022. So this 9th 5-year plan was started during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. So the BJP or the National Democratic Alliance or NDA was there in government in center during the 9th 5-year plan, and the main focus of this 9th 5-year plan was growth with social justice and equality. So this is very important point. WBCS में ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है कि growth with social justice and equality was the objective of which 5-year plan? So आपका आंसर होगा 9th 5-year plan, and it was launched during the 58th year of independence. So ये भी बहुत important point है. ठीक है, and this plan failed to achieve the growth target of 6.5% and achieved a growth rate of 5.6%. So the achieved growth rate of the 9th 5-year plan was also lower than the targeted growth rate. So for this reason we can say that the 9th 5-year plan was also unsuccessful. So these are the important facts about the 9th 5-year plan. Now moving on to 10th 5-year plan in detail. So far as the 10th 5-year plan is concerned, the duration of the 10th 5-year plan was from 2002 to 2007. ठीक है, so this plan lasted from 2002 to 2007, and this 10th 5-year plan saw the 2 prime ministers. So this 10th 5-year plan is very important because during this 5-year plan there were 2 prime ministers in India. The first one was Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and after the resignation of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the next government of Manmohan Singh came in center. So for this reason, this 10th 5-year plan saw the 2 prime ministers, and this plan aimed to double the per capita income of India in the next 10 years. So this is very important point. एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है डायरेक्टली, ठीक है, एंड इट ऑल्सो एम टू रिड्यूस द पॉवर्टी रेशियो टू 15% by 2012. So this is also an important point, and the growth target of this plan was 8%, but it achieved only 7.6%. So we can say that the 9th and 10th 5-year plan during which the NDA government was there, objective or the targeted growth rate was not achieved. So for this reason both the 9th and 10th 5-year plan was unsuccessful. So these are the important facts that you need to know about the 10th 5-year plan. Now moving on to 11th 5-year plan in detail. So far as the 11th 5-year plan was concerned, the 11th 5-year plan lasted from 2007 to 2012, and this 11th 5-year plan was chaired by Manmohan Singh, who was then Prime Minister of India, and it was prepared by C. Rangarajan. So he had been also the governor of RBI. So C. Rangarajan was the main architect of this 11th 5-year plan, and its main theme was rapid and more inclusive growth. So this is a very very important point. So exam में ये पूछा जाता है कि rapid and more inclusive growth was the objective of which 5-year plan. So your answer should be 11th 5-year plan, and it achieved a growth rate of 8% against the target of 9%. So again this 11th 5-year plan was a failure because the targeted growth rate was not achieved. So although the targeted growth rate was very high, which is 9%, and it achieved a growth rate of 8%, but we can say that this 11th 5-year plan was also a failure. So these are the important facts about the 11th 5-year plan. Now moving on to the 12th 5-year plan in detail. So far as the 12th 5-year plan is concerned, the duration of the 12th 5-year plan is from 2012 to 2017, and this 12th 5-year plan was started under the leadership of Manmohan Singh. So he was the Prime Minister of India, and he also was the chairperson of the 12th 5-year plan, and its main theme was faster, more inclusive and sustainable growth. So this is an important point. So theme of the 12th 5-year plan was faster, more inclusive and sustainable growth, and the growth target of this 12th 5-year plan was 8%. So 12th 5-year plan was the period during which the NITI Aayog was established and the 5-year plans was abolished in India. So the NITI Aayog was established in 2015 by the NDA government, and this replaced the Planning Commission, which followed the top-down approach. So the Planning Commission basically followed the top-down model for the planning in India. But the NITI Aayog, which has been established by the government of India now, follows the bottoms up approach. So this is a very important point, and the NITI Aayog now has replaced the Planning Commission. So if in the exam if it is asked that NITI Aayog is a constitutional body or not, then your answer should be NITI Aayog is not a constitutional body. NITI Aayog is a executive body like the Planning Commission. ठीक है. So these are the important facts that you need to know about the planning commission and the 5-year plans. So all these facts are very important. Now let us look at the frequently asked questions from the planning commission. So these are the questions which are frequently asked in various government exams in India, and from these questions you can guess this type of question is asked. So comment the answer of these questions in the comment sections. We discussed all these questions or all these initiatives in the 5-year plans. So after going through the video, you comment the answer of this question in the comment section. So this was all the details about the 5-year plans. We'll come up with more important videos in the next session, and having said that, I'm concluding today's session. We'll meet again in the next video. Till then, take care.